Ladies and gentlemen, Warzone Pacific is officially live, or at least somewhat live. If you have Call of Duty Vanguard, you can play Warzone Pacific right now. As of tomorrow at noon, everyone, all the free-to-play players can hop in as well. And with this, a lot of things have changed. With the Season 1 update, a lot of the equipment was buffed, so that has changed. On top of that, because there's a new map and a new meta and a bunch of new weapons, there's a bunch of things you're going to want to be changing within your loadouts. And because of that, I wanted to bring you guys a video so that right away you could hop into Warzone Pacific and the new map and excel right away. So there's a few little tweaks and little changes that you can make to actually immediately perform at that next level. That is what this video is all about. Before we do though, I wanted to mention two things. First of all, tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to be streaming over on Twitch, playing some Warzone, getting some dubs. I already have 2 today. I've only played 4 games. That will be linked down in the description. Also, I have merch. It's available for 6 more days. It's selling out fast, so get your hands on it while you still can. First link down in the description. Check it out before it is gone. But let's dive into a bunch of different things that you can do to your loadouts right now that are immediately going to make you better in Warzone Pacific. So I just wanted to mention and explain to you why I'm making this video. Last night, there was an update for Warzone that changed a bunch of things with the equipment in game. And on top of that, because Vanguard Royale, you can only use Vanguard items, a bunch of the things like heartbeat sensors, for example, you cannot actually use within this mode. So that completely changes what equipment you should be using in game. On top of this, it's a new map, a very different map than Verdansk. There's no big 17-story buildings on this map. In fact, the highest I've seen is, I think, 4. So because of that, there's a lot less of these like close quarters gunfights. So a lot of longer range weapons like snipers and long range assault rifles do very, very well. So we're going to go over the equipment, the perks, and a couple of weapons you can put on your loadouts right away to be better at the game. So this is what your typical loadout looks like before the Call of Duty Vanguard update that happened today. Generally speaking, you'd use some sort of AR with some sort of SMG, EOD or double time, overkill, and amped. With your lethal and tactical being a thermite, a heartbeat sensor, things along those lines. They may change up person to person. Some people use Semtex, some people use various different things, but that is normally what you would use. A lot of this has actually changed, especially when it comes to your lethal and tactical. And the reason for that is because you can't use a lot of the lethals and tacticals inside of Vanguard Royale. So as of right now, the playlists that we have are Rebirth Resurgence Squads, Rebirth Mini Royale. Those are normal. You can use whatever weapons at whatever equipment you want. But in Vanguard Royale, you can only use Vanguard equipment and Vanguard weapons. So with this is what your class is going to end up more so looking like. So first things first, your lethal and tactical. So as far as this goes, what got buffed last night was claymores, frag grenades, and Molotovs. Those are the 3 that you really want to pay attention to. Throwing knives also got an update, so if you hit someone in the chest or head, it is a 1-hit kill, even if they have full armor. So throwing knives are viable now. However, the one that I think you're going to see a lot of people using are frag grenades. Frag grenades can do up to 250 damage in the middle of the blast radius, and you can carry 2 of them at a time, and if you have restock, you essentially have unlimited frag grenades. We're going to get to that in a second. Molotovs are also decent as they now last for 12 seconds, but I really think frag grenades is what you're going to see a lot of people using. Now, because frag grenades are so popular, your first perk, it's going to be very important for you to run EOD. Now, double time is another good option if you want to move around a little bit faster. However, I really do believe that EOD is going to be the meta with the frag grenade buff. I think once this game is out for everyone, you're going to see a lot of frag grenades. They do a lot of damage. And if you're not running EOD, it's going to be a detriment. Now, there is a skill to throwing frag grenades as you have to cook them for the right amount of time and then throw them the right distance. Now, with the rest of the class, you're going to see overkill for most of the time because people want to use those 2 weapons. Now, your other options here are ghost and restock. So as you're going to see, what I have done here is I have a class that I don't have pistols leveled up yet. I made a big mistake. We'll talk about that in a second. But I have a class with restock on. And the reason for that is because I want to be able to use more frag grenades and more stims. We'll dive into stims in a second. But the other option here is you can also use ghost, and it is a viable option as well. There is a lot of UAVs later on in the game because cash drops come in throughout the game. There's various different things like fire sales. So things like advanced UAVs and UAVs are really common when those events happen. So Ghost is also a good option here. So I really recommend having that second class set up for either Ghost or Restock. If you play more aggressive, I think Restock's better. If you're a little bit more passive, Ghost is probably better. And then Amped I just run on every single class. There's no surprise there. You shouldn't be surprised at all that I'm using Amped. Now, as far as your tactical goes, The big thing is before this update, everyone used stuns. Stuns got nerfed and are about half as good as they used to be, and because of this, I am not running stuns anymore. The other thing that I would run was a heartbeat sensor. Heartbeat sensors cannot be used in Vanguard Royale, so I have been using stims. Stims got buffed last night, so you get a 3-second movement speed buff, and it's quite substantial. You move around the map way quicker, and because of that, you're able to get from point A to point B faster, take less damage, and get more kills. So stims is what I've been running, so frag stims is what you're going to see on most of my classes for the next little while until we see another meta change. Now, weapons. Weapons is a tough one, especially because we might be getting a weapons tuning update later today, but I'll give you a brief breakdown of what I've seen and what people are using. First of all, this fire shotgun is ridiculous for up close. It's basically a 2-shot kill, and you can shoot someone hide behind a corner because on it, I'm using the incendiary rounds. Try this thing out up close. It absolutely annihilates. It is very good. The primary weapons that I've been using are, first of all, the bar. I have this at level 70. The important attachment on this one is the BMG rounds. It makes you deal more damage. As far as the scope goes, I've been using the 2.5 times scope on almost all my classes. I don't love it. It's not as good as the VLK or anything like that, but that is what I'm using. The other weapon that I've been messing around with is the automaton. It is very good. It has a little bit more recoil even with the attachments that I have on it, and it just has a really good fire rate and is good at mid and long range, which a lot of the weapons aren't so great at. I find that SMGs are only good up close. The other AR that I've seen a lot of people using and I used in the pre-build was the NZ41. It has very low recoil, very good damage. I don't have it leveled up yet. It's going to be the first weapon that I level up next because I've seen how good it is. Give this one a shot. I think it's going to probably be a lot of people's favorite weapons for the next couple of weeks. As far as SMGs goes, I've been using the MP40 and the PPSH. And then I have a sniper rifle class. I've been screwing around with the Grenko because it is the new one. It's pretty good. You move around really slow with it. The ADS is pretty slow. Once you get some attachments on there, it'll be a little bit better, but it is good and it has very good bullet velocity. However, as far as other sniper rifles goes, I recommend the best one, the Kar 98K. The Type 99 sucks, so I recommend either the Kar 98 or the Grenko if you have it leveled up. As far as secondaries go, I don't have these leveled up either, but I recommend using the machine pistols akimboed or the top break with snake shot. That can also be a one-hit kill up close, both of which are very good and both of which are very easy to use. So the other big change that a lot of people are going to notice is that you can now use 10 attachments on all of the Vanguard weapons. Now, with this, there are some drawbacks. There's nothing like a monolithic suppressor that suppresses you on the minimap, but also extends your range. Because of this, you'll see a lot more people firing their weapons, and not a lot of people are going to use subsonic ammunition because it nerfs that range. So that's one downside to using these weapons, but you get 10 attachments, which means on a lot of them, you can design them so that you can move around very quickly with them. They're good for sprint to fire speed, or go the opposite direction where the sprint to fire isn't as good, but the weapon basically has no recoil. You can design your weapons the way you want them, but there's going to be drawbacks in certain situations. Now, as far as the next coming days, we're going to see a weapons update either later today or tomorrow. When that happens, I will make a video going over the top 5 weapons in the game. But as for now, these are some things you can do to your loadouts to immediately make you better in game. Those lethals and tacticals right away are going to have to be changed, and I really recommend giving that frag grenade a shot. And if you're not using a frag grenade, or even if you are, make sure you have EOD on, because if you don't, you are going to get blasted by those frag grenades. So hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, a like is always appreciated. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and subscribe to stay up to date on all of the Warzone and Call of Duty Vanguard news, changes, tips, tricks, all of that good stuff. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace out.
We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too